Hey guys, Nika coming at you with another weekly garden update. Today's July 16th. Welcome to my channel. My channel is about gardening, cooking, and traveling and just fun experiences. So welcome. My name's Nika. Let's get started on this weekly garden update. So this is some kale. It is seeding up. I'm just leaving this until I can use all of this kale. There's a lot of it. I was waiting for those flowers to open up, and when they open up they turn into these cottonwood seeds like that. Isn't that beautiful? It's like once you plant it, you just get a bunch of it all over the place, and it's very delicious. And my pot is crumbling. Every week it gets worse. I'll throw this out after I harvest this kale. And then we'll plant some more in a different pot. I think I'm gonna use one of these black tubs to continue growing lettuce and kale. I'm gonna go buy some more of these black tubs. So, and we have this rosemary. I need to transplant this rosemary. It's been in this blue pot and it's just root bound. And I'm thinking I might have to just chop it in half. I don't want too much rosemary. These are pine evergreen plants, and they just will get huge. So I kind of want to contain this in a container. So I will be working with that here shortly as soon as I can find a good pot to put it in. But look at, and it smells so good when you water it. Oh, but we're going to make some tinctures out of it. It's very medicinal. Rosemary is hardy. And we'll be doing some cooking with it too. So that's my rosemary. I had planted this about 2 years ago and it's starting to yellow. So I do need to transplant this. I also have, remember these chives? I chopped them about 2 weeks ago, and look at how much it's grown since then. And I have 3 pots of chives. This one's doing the best. But I'm thinking I might need to take these out of the pot and shake out some of these roots, because it looks like it's really root bound in there. And the water's just resting on top when I water it. So those are my chives. Remember, I chopped them just maybe like 2 weeks ago. And look at how many I have again. And I'm actually getting some purple flowers on there. Some more seeds. You only have to plant chives once. They come back, they grow, they're very hardy. So easy to grow. And then here's my basil. It's getting big. I'm getting a lot of leaves on there. And I'm thinking I'm gonna plant one. I just transplanted some in a pot. I'll leave a link in the description box below of my indoor garden. I'm still working on that video, but that's where I keep this basil going. I've had this basil plant going for about 2 years. I just keep clipping it and rooting it and growing it. And it grows inside. And in the spring, it kind of goes just a little dormant. And then I ended up chopping the whole plant down. I got a bunch of stems to sprout, and then I planted some outside. And I like this variation of basil. I like the big leaf basil. It's so sweet. It's so good. And then I have my strawberries. They're starting to flower. So I might be getting some strawberries here. There's more than one flower on this plant. And that's a sign that they're gonna produce some strawberries. I had put more dirt in this pot and covered a lot of these leaves, but look there, they liked it, and it's really growing. It's flourishing in this pot. So those are my strawberries, and then I have this volunteer celery right here. I'm just gonna leave that there. I need to clean up a little bit of this, but around it, because I'm getting this wild grass, and sometimes that grass will choke stuff out. So I'm gonna have to clean up around that celery. Okay guys, and here's my other basil plant. Look how big it is. And I still need to do some cooking with this. We're gonna be cooking with this a lot. I can make spring rolls with it. I like to put it on tomato sandwiches, just using it for garnish. I'm waiting for my tomatoes to sprout. Just a tomato with cheese and basil, that's so delicious. So we'll be eating a lot of those. We'll be cooking with this basil a lot. Look how big that plant is. This came from my indoor garden and I planted it in the spring. And my sun sugar tomato plant is doing fantastic. Look at that. I'm getting clusters of tomatoes. And I've just been trying to clip this, keep it clipped, but I can't keep up with it. I'm getting so many new leaves, new branches, new growth on here. So I'm so excited that I'm getting these tomatoes, and now I have a lot of lettuce to eat, tomatoes, and I have some cucumbers growing. My garden's really starting to produce a lot of fruit, and I'm loving it. See guys, I've been keeping these marigolds in these tomato plants, and it's doing really good keeping the bugs off of them. I haven't seen any pests on these tomatoes at all. So marigolds work in zone 7, high altitude USA. If it's arid and not humid, it seems like these marigolds work as a pest repellent. And then I have these pear tomatoes. I have different kinds of tomatoes. Super delicious. This is an early girl tomato, and it's not producing any fruit. There should be fruit on here by now. I don't see one tomato. I don't see any flowers on here. This might be a male plant, and I'm not sure if that's the problem. But I'm not getting any fruit on this plant, and it's so disheartening. But good thing I plant a lot of tomato plants. And then I have this lemon boy that's starting to get a little bigger. I'm not seeing any flowering on it yet, but it's still kind of small, but at least it's handling this hot sun. We've been getting 100-degree temperatures right now, and it's handling it, and it's actually starting to thrive more and more, so I'm excited about that. I have this black cherry tomato plant, and it's producing some tomatoes in here. I am getting a couple, so that's something. That is something. And there's quite a few flowers here up on top. And my husky red tomato right in front of it, there's clusters, but they're not turning red. And it's starting to get pretty big. It's getting to be a good size. So my tomatoes are doing good. This is another early girl, and it's actually producing a little fruit. There's one tomato right there. These are the ones I plan on making sandwiches with. Here's another early girl. And it's flowering a little bit. So I'm waiting on these tomatoes. I can just eat tomatoes until I'm sick. I love tomatoes. I can't hardly wait until I get some early girls. I'll just eat them with salt and have a really good time. That's my memories of good summers. My chili pepper's doing good. I'm starting to get flowers on it. White and yellow flowers. Let's see if you can see the white one. There's a white flower in there. See it? So they're doing good. I might get some peppers early. These are orange peppers, and I love to cook with peppers. And I like that Cajun trio, celery, onion, and peppers, and I have each one of those in my garden, so I'm getting excited about cooking with those. Here's my wild spinach. I had pulled one of these, so the bottom ones are starting to get big. We'll do some more cooking with these. You can do so much with this wild spinach. It grows everywhere like weeds, and it's so healthy for you, especially if you fertilize it. You get a lot of good nutrients out of it. Right next to it is my mint. It's doing good. getting bigger. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's flowering and it's oozing something out of it. See, look right in there. I'm not sure what that is. But it is flowering. And I'm not sure, I have to look and see what that is. Something is coming out of the stem of that. But it's starting to flower and mature already. I usually wait until the fall to pick this. So we're gonna have a lot of mint tea. And I'm gonna find some recipes. You can put this mint in drinks. It tastes really good, like with watermelon, smoothies. You can garnish with it. It tastes great. And then I have my garlic. It's doing good. I stuck a whole bunch of garlic in here. Some of it ended up floating to the top. And I'm gonna have to plant it even deeper. This probably won't start producing until the fall, early winter. We'll probably get garlic then because it's a cool weather plant. But I did stick a bunch of garlic in there, so I'm hoping that it'll start growing even more garlic. And then I have my broccoli. This one's not actually producing broccoli, but my other one that gets the morning sun, it is producing broccoli. Let me show you that. I transplanted these peas. These peas were struggling. I don't know if they're gonna make it, but they look healthier than they did in the wood container. So they look like they're a little bit in shock. But I just transplanted these about 3 days ago, so we'll keep an eye on those. They do look like they're healthier though. And we'll see what we get out of those. And then I got my green beans and my purple beans. And they're doing good. They were in shock for a bit. I transplanted those too. They didn't like the wood either, but they really like these black tubs that I'm growing out of. So they're doing good. Look at that. Look at that one right there. It's looking for a place to sprout out to. Maybe it'll cling to this fence behind it and we'll get a lot of green beans out of there. And then I have my celery. My celery is doing good. Look, I'm getting a lot of mature seeds. It's really starting to get ready for harvest. It's not ready yet. There's some spots that have a lot of seeds. Celery seeds is so good. I'm gonna gather that. We'll do some cooking with that. Then I have this container of lettuce. I had transplanted this lettuce over a month ago, and I had a big stalk of lettuce, and I pulled that and it let that lettuce branch out. So this container is looking a lot better since I pulled that big lettuce stem out of there. If you look at some of my other videos, I'll leave the link to those videos in the description box below. If you're interested, you can look at them. But this lettuce is really coming along and starting to get really bushy. So more lettuce, guys, more salads. And I have my squash. My squash is doing good. Look, there's stuff developing in the center of that squash. I don't know if it's squash or not. And these marigolds, they're doing the trick. I don't have any squash bugs on my squash. So they are doing the trick. I live in Zone 7, Southwest, high altitude, USA. And marigolds are keeping my plants insect free. I must admit, I haven't had to put anything on my plants. No pesticides, except the broccoli. I had to put some diatomaceous dirt, even though I had marigolds. And here's my ginger, it's a little bigger. It's starting to expand. Still trying to come out of its shell, but it's looking pretty good. And that's my ginger, guys. So here's my raspberry and my blueberry plant, guys. I moved these containers into the shade. They're doing so much better. The leaves stopped curling and it's starting to get a lot healthier. I think I'm just going to leave these in this spot. I think they like it here. We'll see what happens in the winter time, but I'm just going to leave those there. Here's my blueberry plant. It seems like it's trying to do something. I changed the dirt in this pot. I took some of the dirt out and then I put some steer manure and some mushroom compost in there. Some of this mushroom compost, I put that in there. And it seems like it liked it. I'm seeing more of these purple blueberries starting to sprout. So I think it's still kind of struggling, but we'll see what happens. So I moved them in this spot and they seem to like this spot. This spot doesn't get as much sun. It does get intense afternoon sun. No morning sun, but it gets more shade. And here's my sunflowers. Look at how big that one's getting. That's the biggest one. And they are doing good. I love sunflowers. They're so good for your garden. Look. Look in there. So we're getting a lot of good sunflowers. These are so pretty, especially in the fall. The birds and the bees, they love these. And they do attract a lot of bees that help pollinate your plants. I have a lot of ladybugs in this yard and worms. So this yard is very healthy for planting. The bad thing is they put a lot of rock in this yard. So that's why I grow in containers, because nothing's gonna grow on all that rock. I'm sorry to say my spinach died. I was not able to revive it. So we'll just use this dirt for something else. I'm not sure what to do with this. This spinach, I have trouble growing spinach. And I'm gonna have to learn what I'm doing wrong. So that'll be next year's. I might even plant some in the fall. I heard that spinach is a cool weather plant, so we'll be experimenting with that. I might plant some more in August and see if that helps. Here's my asparagus, guys. And I turned this pot, I moved it back a little bit because I planted some potatoes in this pot right here. So I needed to make room. I turned this asparagus and pushed it back a little bit. This bushy part was hanging out in front here, and I just turned it so that the wall would hold that bushy part up. And then this part will get more sun. Just trying to even it out. That's the cool thing about growing in containers. You can move them around, turn them around so they'll get sun all 360 degrees of that plant. So we'll see what we get with this. Hopefully we get some asparagus in the fall. I'm not counting on it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and just keep looking in there to see if that starts to sprout new growth. I might have to chop this. I might have to do some research. If anybody knows how to grow asparagus or has any tips, leave them in the comment section below. This is my first time growing asparagus. I've had this plant, this is its second season. I'm just experimenting, so any help you can give me, I would appreciate it. So right next to it, that's why I moved this plant, is I'm growing potatoes in here. This time we're gonna try wood. I've tried plastic and I tried one of those cloth containers with the pocket where you can peek on the roots. That one didn't do very good. The plastic did a little better, but I'm seeing if this wood helps. These potatoes do get bushy. They flower everything, but I don't get a lot of potatoes in the roots. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then I have onions in this pot. So I have reds and whites and yellows in this pot, onions, and I clip them down. I remember you have to clip these down and keep them clip, I have some more onions that I could put in here. I'm gonna put some more. I only have 5 onions. It looks like maybe 6. And here's my indoor garden, guys. See? I was planting these yesterday. I'm gonna make a video of that. I have tomatoes growing in my indoor garden, and I have green onions, and I have basil growing in my indoor garden. I'll leave a link in the description box below of the video I did yesterday on how to tend to indoor garden. I like to grow an indoor garden because I like to tend to things in the winter time, and you can grow these plants very easy. And then you have like fresh tomatoes in the winter time. And then let me show you something. This is so exciting. Look at this. I'm getting cucumbers, guys. Let me see. Look. This is my first cucumber of the year, guys. I'm so excited about that. But look, I'm getting all kinds of cucumbers on my cucumber plants finally. Look at that. I think I have some up on top here, look. So yay. And then I filled all this up with dirt down here. That way I didn't have to deal with all of that in the bottom. They drain your plant. So I just covered all of that bottom growth with leaves, steer manure, and mushroom compost. So that's when I started getting cucumbers. And I'm gonna have to transplant this lettuce, and keep saying that, but it's gotta be done because it's taking a beating out here with this 100-degree temperature. I want to put I might just put it in the shade. These flowers closed up. Remember last week they were so pretty, and they finally closed up. So it is time to do something with this plant. And then, it's my okra, guys. I'm still getting a lot of okra on here. Lots of okra in here. I put some more dirt in there. When I grow in these containers and I put a lot of leaves on the bottom, it tends to shrink. So I tend to have to put more dirt later on in the season on these. Look at how thick that okra stem is. It is thick. This okra is doing fantastic. We'll be cooking with this a lot. I'm getting so much okra. So that's my okra, guys. And then I have this Veronica plant. Look at those leaves. That's a little different, and there is some fruit. And then I'm getting broccoli, guys. Look. Broccoli is forming in my broccoli plant. And it looks, this is a little different than what you get in the store. This must be a different strain of broccoli. But we'll be cooking with that. See, guys, I have marigolds in my broccoli, but I'm still getting a few holes in the leaves. And I have been putting diatomaceous dirt just to keep the pests off this broccoli. Okay, guys, that's my weekly garden update for July 16th. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for every like, every comment, every subscribe. You guys have a wonderful evening. See you on the next video. Bye.